Welcome back to First Listen, that series where we listen to some world-renowned albums that neither of us have ever heard before.
Today we're going to be listening to Bruno Mars' debut album, Doo-Wops and Hooligans. This was released in 2010 and it really put Bruno Mars onto the map.
It was one of the biggest albums in the UK, one of the biggest albums around the world, so let's jump into things and start with the first track, Grenade. I think it's important to say as we start things off, obviously we'll have heard some of the singles.
Such a beautiful voice. Such a beautiful voice. That crescendo into that craziness. Love it.
Instantly really catchy. You can see why this song did so well commercially.
I love the change in going higher at the end of that instead of lower. That cymbal crescendo, I love it into everything.
Little change in sound for the kind of closing section.
Bang! Straight back in again. Come on.
Slightly angrier delivery in this one. Like he's really trying to get the message across.
A lot of passion in his voice.
Well, if you'd never heard Bruno Mars before and you'd put this album on, that was the first track. Wow, you instantly know what he's about. Great vocals throughout, really catchy.
I like the artistic license that he takes with the vocals. He doesn't just stick to being, this is how I need to deliver the verse. He'll swap it up and he'll add a little intonation and he'll add a little gap here and there and then he'll wait and then come in with the bars again. And I think it's a really good song. I think there's a good reason as to why this was as popular as it was.
And the production is fantastic. You picked up on it a few times throughout the track, but the way that it delivers a more energetic moment, like just before every chorus, is really good. So should we go on to the next track, which is Just the Way You Are, another one that we've definitely both heard. So there's going to be a few in this album that we've listened to before, but let's go. With the echoing ohs. It makes me want to sing, do you know what I mean?
Some lovely harmony. It's just his voice. He's just got such a good voice. Lovely drum work. Lovely drum work. Like those drums paired with the calm vocals. It's such a, I don't know, it's a cool sound. You don't hear it that often.
It's quite difficult because I've heard this song so many times to not think that the lyrics are like basic, but I only think that they're basic because I've heard the song that many times. I know every single word and it's never even been on one of my playlists.
I think it's because once you listen to something so many times just passively, like on the radio, the lyrics just start to mean nothing to you because it just becomes part of the song. But I do think that he is a great lyricist, and for this to be the second track straight after Grenade, wow.
Do you think that in this one he actually caught the grenade for her and now he's just in love, loving every second of their relationship?
Well, I think he wanted to get out of that relationship and now he might have met somebody else that he prefers and he likes her just the way she is.
Oh, damn.
She's so beautiful and I tell her every day.
Just beautiful little micro harmonies.
Yeah, it's carried on in this section as well.
It's that ghostly version of him in the background. It just adds so much volume to it.
See, similar to the last track, now you want it to change, and I know it's gonna, but
That high note, god damn. It's beautiful.
I thought you were singing it then, and you weren't. I'm disappointed. Go on, Tim, hit the high note.
The whole world stops and stares for a while. 'Cause girl, you're amazing. Just the way you are. Yeah.
A very feel-good track. Just happy vibes throughout. The way that the drums pair with the keys and then inject that bass every now and then, it just rings right in my brain, if that makes sense.
The use of crescendos, the use of like punctuation with the instruments is like, okay, I'm going to calm down here, and then what into everything. I mean, these two songs are kind of, I'd say this a lot, but a masterclass in getting the attention of the listener. Because if you were listening to it and it just had the soft piano throughout, you'd kind of lose attention eventually with like how people listen to music these days. But with those crescendos, it kind of makes you go, oh, something's happening, something's changing. And then always with the last verse being different to the other verses, it adds an extra little bit to the song that makes you go, oh, I like this bit more than the previous.
And I think despite the lyrics being quite basic, you know, like her lips, I'd kiss them all day if she'd let me, there's like bits in the verses where people can read into it a little bit more, and especially for a debut album, it's very, very impressive songwriting. But before we go on to the next song in our first time, please do remember to hit like and subscribe. We've done a few of these first listens now, including Olivia Rodrigo's Sour, which was our last first listen. So go check that out after this video as well. But our first time up next.
'Cause it's so brand new, babe. It's so brand new, baby.
Cool feel on his voice, very jazzy feel.
Feel good, babe. Don't it feel
Oh,
Almost feels reggae.
a reggae guitar, yeah.
it's all the way I'm hoping. Is that all?
It's got that reggae samba vibe to it. This is very feel good already.
Girl, don't need to be nervous. 'Cause I've got you all night. Don't you worry.
Really liking the instrumental on this one, but I feel like he's doing a lot of sexy talk here. Like, I feel like he's really trying to lure me in. Do you know what I mean? I know
Well-
that's the whole point of it, but I bet his female fans love this
I was
track.
gonna say, like, I feel like I'm swooning right now listening to the lyrics that he's delivering. He does it in such a way as well that, you know, if he was singing this song directly to you, you'd be like, whoa, hang on a minute,
I'd be
calm
like,
down. Woo, get a case of the vapors.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. He's talking about eating you before you melt away and stuff. All right, Bruno.
I wasn't familiar with your style.
Just go with it, go with it, go with it, and I will go real slow with it, slow with it.
That funky beat, I can't get over it. I'm still vibing to it. It's just so nice.
Go with it, it's our first time.
Well, that certainly switched up the vibes and the tempo a little bit. A real head bopper, and what feels like, I suppose it's just because the first two did so well in the charts, but more of a, not a personal song for Bruno. I mean, I suppose he was personally thinking about getting down with it, but I don't know, it just felt
jiggy.
different.
Yeah, it felt like something that was very different the first two tracks. The first two being coherent, like love songs, maybe a bit more romantic. This was a lot more of a sexy vibe song. And I really enjoyed it, to be fair. I was very enamored by the entire track there. I felt like I'd entered the song in a way. And he was very, the visuals that he was kind of conjuring up, kind of thought, okay, what's happening here?
Wait,
Fucking
what were you
Me and
visualizing?
Bruno.
You're visualizing grinding on Bruno or something.
I don't know, man.
Oh,
but that man, it has a way of making you feel things, and we're only 3 songs in, and I think we can already tell what the theme of this album is going to be. It's going to be a very lovey-dovey vibe album.
Well, we're on to the 4th track in the album, Runaway Baby. I know this.
Looky here, what do we have? Another pretty thing ready for me to grab. But little does she know that I'm a wolf and she's clothing. 'Cause at the end of the night, it is her I'll be holding. I love you so. Hey, that's what you'll say. You'll tell me, baby, please don't go away.
Hi.
This is good. This is good.
Every girl say, run away, baby, before I put my spell on you.
I didn't even know that I knew this, but I have heard this a million times.
Yeah, so have I. Yeah.
Let me think how what you
Bruno Mars is omnipresent.
young bunnies that I'd like to pursue. Run away, baby, before I put my spell on you. You better get away, darling, 'cause everything you heard is true. Better run away, baby.
Such a strong emphasis on drums on every track so far.
I ain't tryna hurt you, baby. No, I just wanna your poor little heart will end up alone. 'Cause Lord knows I'm a rolling stone. So you better run away, baby.
2.5 minutes. I think it's the shortest track on the album, but my God, I think that might be my favorite track. I don't know. We've not heard the rest of them yet, but that is a strong contender because I loved that.
Definitely. The energy that injected was unbelievable. Just really fun head bopper. You could dance around to that. You could jump around to that. Just a great little track. I'm surprised. I've definitely heard that a million times. I don't know if it's on like some UK TV adverts or something at this point.
That's
but
what I think it could be. I think that chorus was used on something potentially because I knew that chorus more than I knew the other parts of it. The verses I wasn't too familiar with, but that chorus when it came in. But another part I just wanted to make a point on was the drums again, because it seems like that's a very prominent part of his music so far and this album in general. And it kind of makes sense as to why he then went on in later years to pair up with Anderson .Paak and do Silk Sonic, because Anderson .Paak himself was a drummer, so he was probably lending drums to that album, and Bruno is already a huge fan of drums, and I think that pairing's fantastic.
the instrumental on that song was really, really good. The background vocals on every track have been nice, but just the like overreaching whoas that are like kind of going on constantly in the chorus sections and stuff. It's not something that you would really pick up on if you're just listening to it on the radio or whatever, but listening to it in this setting makes me realize how much time and thought has been put into every little bit.
But there isn't too many vocal lines going on either, so there's only maybe one or two at any time, which I think has such a great effect on the track because you're not being overwhelmed by these insane harmonies, yet he's still managing to make the harmonies sound great with only 2 vocal tracks. So yeah, fantastic work.
Well, we're on to another of this album's big bangers that I'm sure we'll both know. I mean, to be fair, there's only been one so far that I didn't know, and that was the Sexy song, and I enjoyed that as well. So let's go on to the Lazy song.
The Sexy song.
Day I don't feel like doing anything.
Again, you can hear the drums straight away.
I just wanna
It's that whistling. When he did that, he was like, I've got a catchy whistle here. Throw this on this track. People will go ape shit for it.
at the tone, 'cause today I swear
Them supporting vocals again.
anything. Oh, yes, I said it 'cause I can. Today I don't feel
Never noticed that scratching before. Adds a nice little effect onto it.
I just wanna
It is kind of a reggae-esque production as well, though, again, isn't it? I've never noticed that before, but just the way the guitar's played and the drums are going on.
the tone, 'cause today I swear I'm not doing anything. Nothing at all. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, nothing at all. Woo-hoo, nothing at all.
Another really good track. Drums, main part for me this time. You love the catchy whistle, though.
I love that whistle. That is such an earworm. You just want to repeat it every time that you hear it.
I don't know why, though, when listening to that track, the thought going around my head is, obviously it's called the Lazy song. It's all about sitting at home, doing nothing, relaxing, you know. I just imagine and envision millions of middle-aged mums around the world in their like 1 or 2 days off a week. They go play this song and they're like, today I'm actually not doing anything, and they'll like relate to every single second of the song. Do you know what I mean? I can just imagine them going around the house and their kids come down and say, Mum, can we go do this? And they listen. Can you hear that?
Yeah, what Bruno's saying back there,
Yeah.
because I ain't doing nothing today.
I'm lazy on the couch. I'm not brushing my hair. I'm just chilling today. But we're on with another big banger. How many unbelievably massive songs does this album have on it?
I don't know. And to say this is a debut album as well, this man is phenomenally talented.
Yeah, it's crazy. Vocals, instrumentals, everything throughout. This is probably the last of the bigger tracks. So after this, we're going to start to hear a lot more that we don't know.
This is Marry You. Nice little glockenspiel. Not heard that yet.
Nice little what?
Glockenspiel.
Hey baby, I think I wanna marry you.
The levels are very loud for the instruments, aren't they? Versus the vocals.
There's a lot more going on than the last couple of tracks. Well, other than Runaway Baby.
Who cares if we're trash? Got a pocket full of cash we can blow. Shots of Patrol.
I love how he's got shots of Patron as such a vocal. Like, whoa.
It's a beautiful night.
The wedding bells
Yeah.
going on, talking about being married. Genius work there.
Hey baby, I think I wanna marry you. Is it the look in your eyes, or is it this dancing juice?
I don't know. Is it the look in your eyes or is it the dancing juice? I feel like if that was a British band, it'd be, is it the look in your eyes or that pint of booze? And it still works
that would
just
still
as
fit.
well.
Yeah.
Don't say no, 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 no. Just say
You could just imagine the whole crowd like,
and we'll go. Hey baby,
I love them church bells. I love it. It adds such a cool layer to it. It's great.
maybe you need to get married, Tim.
is it this dancing juice?
He's saying about having a shotgun
Then you
wedding
can hear
here.
the church bells in real life, mate.
I think I wanna marry you. Just
Never gonna happen.
I do.
Lonely, lonely man.
What are you saying?
No,
What the fuck was that?
nothing.
Tell me right now, baby, baby, just say I do.
Never.
What the fuck, man?
Now, baby, tell me right now, baby, baby.
Well, I must admit, this has been an all-timer run for Bruno, and every track here has been so fun in different ways with slightly different themes. Obviously, a lot themed around love or a woman or getting the girl or putting down on the girl, but everything has just been nice to listen to. Still interesting and energetic enough where I can see why it's been commercially successful, but the production has so many different elements that it's fun to dive deeper into still. It doesn't feel one-dimensional like it was just made for radio.
Yeah, they added a lot of different things going on there, and there was, like I was saying initially, the levels were very, not all over the place, they were very thought about in the way that the vocals weren't necessarily drowned out, but they kind of on the same level as the instrumental, and I quite liked that. And it was also pretty cool that you got a feature on that track with a great big bell. But we move on to the next track, which is Talking to the Moon. Intro sounds like MCR.
Out there, somewhere far
I know this as well.
Yeah, of course you do.
I didn't
I was
know that I knew
surprised
this
when
one.
you said going through this that you wouldn't know this one. This album's just packed with bangers, top to bottom.
I sit by myself, talking to the moon,
Oh, levitating.
trying to get to you. Who sits alone, talking to the moon.
Back to just that piano and vocals. You can just imagine him sat there playing the piano with the vocals.
Nice little beat kicking in.
It's the talk of the town. They say I've gone mad. Yeah, I've gone mad.
Oh, that bass work. Come on.
'Cause when the sun goes down, someone's talking back.
I really like that high pass filter in the background.
There's almost like little strange little ping ping sound effects going on. It just feels like you're in space. Great vocal there.
Like you're talking to the moon in space.
I know you're somewhere out there, somewhere far away.
Very, very interesting outro there to kind of like just use half of one of the verses and just end on that. It's very somber almost. And I feel like that track is him basically saying that he wants to talk to this person that he likes and he's hoping that they're talking back to him. It's either that or he thinks there's an alien on the other side of the moon that's responding to him. One or the other. He might really like aliens. We don't know.
It feels much more personal, that one. It felt like a calm moment after the storm of pop banger after pop banger, where he was kind of just exploring his emotions. I kind of read it as like he was talking to himself in a weird way, but like the moon is the only thing that he's really talking to. I don't know, but it's good that we even have these questions. If it's making us question what his intentions were with the songwriting, then I think he did a fantastic job. I'm surprised. I didn't even know what it was when I read the song title, and obviously I've heard that before. But we'll go on to the next track, which is Liquor Store Blues featuring Damian Marley, which I am excited for given some of the vibes we've had on the track so far.
And Damian Marley has one of my favourite features ever, which was on a Skrillex track, Make It Bundem. So maybe this will be dubstep infused. Who knows?
Now greetings to the world. Vice of the one called Bruno Mars alongside Gang to the Zilla. You know what I mean? Standing at this liquor store, whiskey coming.
Of course it's going to be reggae themed. Of course it is.
Lotto tickets cheap, yeah, that's why you can catch me here trying to scratch my way up to the top. 'Cause my
I like that.
Tap, 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 tap. Liquor store blues. I'll take one shot for my pain.
You think Damian's going to get a verse, or is he just going to go in, yo, all the way through?
Yeah, surely he has more of a feature than just the intro.
I don't know if it's just because pineapple kush between my jaws has got me feeling like I'm on top. Feeling like I would have stand up to the cops.
Simple but effective guitar.
You best believe. Now, man. Yeah.
I just love Damian Marley. It adds so much to a track. And I also like that this felt very different to everything we've heard so far. Obviously, the last one, Talking to the Moon, was more of a personal note. This, a complete vibe switch again.
We stayed on those reggae vibes that we've heard a couple of times, and I really enjoy that because I don't think it's really something that I would associate Bruno Mars with particularly, but it is something that works incredibly well. And I think this album as a whole has shown how versatile his vocals are, that he can lend himself to any kind of beat and still make it sound so great.
Should we go on to the next track, which is Count on Me?
If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you.
Another love song for him.
You can count on me like 1, 2, 3. I'll be
I know this as well. Like,
and I know when I need
it
it
shows how huge this album was, that it's just ingrained in everybody's brains.
too, and you'll be there. Ooh.
Just hitting that high note with such ease, so cleanly.
Find out what we're made
Thinking it's going to have to kick in a little bit in the second half.
We are called to help our friends in need.
Here, maybe?
You can count on
Oh no, added a bit of strings in, bit of dynamics. That harmony. Again, with just the two tracks.
never say goodbye. You can count on me.
That dropped into that chorus so nicely. Like, you didn't even feel it coming, it just bang, there it is.
You can count on me 'cause I can count on you.
That was a really serene song. It was really simple. You know, they kept it kind of drawn back, but there was enough in there to keep my attention and keep me listening.
Completely agree. Simple but effective. I don't really have much more to say. I enjoyed it, made me feel good. Should we go on to The Other Side featuring CeeLo Green and B.O.B.? CeeLo Green and B.O.B. were so big at this point as well.
So big.
As much as they're not massive pop stars now, or stars in general, at this point, this was a big get.
I think a lot of people also forget that CeeLo Green already existed in a previous duo as Gnarls Barkley, which everybody forgets was CeeLo Green, and I think it was Danger Mouse that collabed together to make Gnarls Barkley. So he's already been in the UK zeitgeist for as long as you can think. So to have him on a track with B.O.B. and Bruno Mars, what a get. Drums again, drums throughout, phenomenal work.
I must admit, a lot of these songs actually, although the instrumentals have been fantastic, and I suppose it's just because they were so big, but it feels very 2010. Do you know what I mean? Especially this one in particular, the way that the production's done and the way that just a little quick guitar note and it's a little head bop perfectly fits that 2010s vibe.
It's the epitome of the 2010s era, 100%. I love CeeLo's vocals, man. Even that little alarm, that whoop whoop. That was a good little verse. That I enjoyed that.
I've liked the way that there's been like the reverb side to side sound effects. Is it synths in the background, just like woo 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 woo.
Bit of breakbeat going on there.
Again, really switched things up. Both features were fantastic. CeeLo with some amazing vocals, B.O.B with some clean bars. Really, really enjoyed that one.
You can kind of feel what they've also brought to the track in terms of production, because there was a lot of B.O.B feeling sounds going on there. So I feel like he's had quite a hand in the actual instrumental on the track as a whole. I really enjoyed it, thought it was really good. We'll go on to the next track, which is a bonus track, Somewhere in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, baby.
She was covered in leather and gold, 21 years old. I lost her in the cold. Little Miss Perfect sitting at the train stop, red Nike high tops, listening to hip hop while we
Vivid imagery again.
I'm not sure how I feel about the boop, boop, boop. Feels like I'm in a hospital that's going wrong.
Life support.
Like, imagine if the doctor heard this, they'd be like,
looking, she was covered in leather and gold. Ooh, I wonder, will we ever meet again?
Beautiful harmonies going on here, even with the OOOs. Sounds so nice.
I hope we do, somewhere in Brooklyn.
that was my least favourite track on the album so far.
I was going to say, I can see why that is a bonus track, because he probably thought, you know what, this is good enough that I want it on the album, but maybe it's not quite good enough that I want it in the track listing.
And I would agree with him on that one. It wasn't particularly bad. It wasn't offensive still. I just wasn't a fan of the hospital-esque sound effects, and it was very repetitive in lyrical content.
Yeah, there wasn't really a whole lot going on. I got the idea of what he was saying. He was looking for a girl that's somewhere out there in Brooklyn. Couldn't find her. But there wasn't really a whole lot going on. The instrumental was very safe and basic, and yeah, it wasn't the greatest. Didn't hate it, wasn't the greatest.
But we're on to the second of bonus tracks, the last track on the album, Talking to the Moon acoustic version. So we've already heard this really, but this time we can hear the pure vocals.
My neighbors think I'm crazy, but they don't understand.
A lighter song, this. You definitely get the lighters out for this one.
All I had.
Or like artists do nowadays, get your phone torch out
Yeah.
instead. Oh, it's such a shame. Acoustic piano version.
This doesn't feel that different to the normal one.
No. It's got that ringing bass
Yeah, it's like
reverb.
really distorted.
Trying to get to you.
There's a much lower version there that you can't really hear, but it adds something. The da-da-da, but down an octave.
Talking to me too.
That bit, I love that
Just
bit.
the added background vocals.
Yeah. It sounds so raw. Talk me too.
To the moon.
I feel like he's really in my ears right now. Do you know what I mean? That
In my brain. Get him out. Get him out.
Hear me calling. I know you're somewhere out there, somewhere far away.
I don't know if that's some kind of cover or someone's like sampled the song, but I've definitely heard another version of that uses the same like vocal delivery, maybe with different lyrics, especially in that chorus section. But again, I really liked it the first time round. Really liked the acoustic version. Think that that's a fantastic track.
I didn't really notice that many difference, but perhaps it's because it's something that we've listened to so long ago that I can't quite remember how it sounded. But to me, yeah, great track. It sounded great. Both versions were fantastic. So, yeah.
Well, Tim, that was Doo-Wops and Hooligans, Bruno Mars' debut album. Give me some thoughts.
I thought it was a phenomenal piece of work. For a debut album, it's really difficult to come out the gates with all like cylinders firing. But Bruno Mars managed it amazingly. There is so many tracks on there that I think you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody that didn't know at least 3 tracks off this album.
Yeah, completely agree. Loads of worldwide massive bangers, but also re-listening to those in this setting made me realise how many layers there were to it, how impressive Bruno's vocals are, and also the range in production throughout the album was really impressive. Some more chill acoustic numbers, some more reggae-themed songs, more funky tracks, and then your kind of stereotypical pop songs, but even those had really good drums and guitar elements throughout.
There was a lot of focus on the instrumental on this, and like you're saying, the drums and bass in particular were fantastic. There was so much work put into those to craft it so nicely, and Bruno's voice just works over every type of beat, and obviously he's done the more recent stuff that he's done, and even that works, and this man has the most range out of any male vocalist, I reckon.
My only complaint on the album is I do think there were a few lines that were very, very basic and maybe a little bit cringy.
But you've got to think, was he just going for the radio listens? Was he just trying to keep it simplistic because he wanted you to listen to the music more than the lyrics, potentially?
I agree. I'm not saying that makes them bad songs, but I've got to be fair to it. And I do think a few of the tracks had a few cringy lines. That's fine. It doesn't make them a bad track. It just means that, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, and this is a perfect example as to why Bruno Mars is as big as he is and as respected as he is. And I don't think his name is brought up enough. I don't think people talk about him as much as they should.
I completely disagree. I think especially, maybe not so much in the UK, but especially in America, people have said he's the new Michael Jackson and stuff. I've heard that being a regular comparison and something that people say, because he's only got 3 studio albums, solo work, and all of them have massive tracks on. And every single time he just delivers unreal vocals and really blows everyone away.
Do you think we're ever going to get another purely Bruno Mars album? Because I think the last one was maybe 2016.
Yeah, 2016 was his last solo album. I don't know. I would imagine we will at some point, but then he's at a point in his career where he can always just tour these albums. Maybe he only wants to release something that he knows is going to be top tier and match up to the rest of his discography. Speaking of which, I've never listened to 24 Karat Magic in full. I've never listened to, what's that, Unorthodox Jukebox in full. So hit like and subscribe. Tell us if you want us to listen to those in the comments, but also tell us what other albums you'd like us to listen to.
Thank you very much for watching.